Hello, as you can see, this is a work desk area. It's not perfect, but this is to prove a point, to show you how to get your own space. So what does your space look like at home, right? So let me just go over some of the resources that I would recommend in your study area. In our study skills document I gave you, it says that you need to create the proper environment. What's a proper environment look like? Well, all the books I need are here, well, a few of them. And then here I have some nice books. We have Thomas Sowell, we have David McCullough, and Malcolm Gladwell, Vodi Bakum. So good books here to just check out for fun, okay, later. So have some of your fun books off to the side. Have some of the textbooks you might need. I have the CLEP College Algebra and CLEP Pre-Calc book here. You could do both of those books in 4 months for fun. And we offer those courses, so let me know if you want to do that. But here's the point. Create a proper environment. Let's talk about what that involves. Avoid distractions. They will limit your focus and retention. So most texts, whether they're novels, primary sources, or textbooks, are written with a narrative and logical flow. So constant interruptions will break this flow and prevent you from seeing the connections within the material. Distracted reading also reduces your efficiency. If you spend an hour with a book but don't really focus on it, that hour is partly wasted. So please put your phones away, put things away. Now, some of you might argue, what if I want to listen to classical music? I will tell you, when I was studying for chemistry in my undergraduate days back in the University of Wisconsin in Superior, I would have sometimes, I would put on some classical music. It's easier when you're doing calculation problems, I think personally. Now we could get into preferences. The key though, is your environment encouraging? Is your environment distraction-free? Is your environment one that allows you to dive in, right? Consider that noises and people are not the only distractions, right? Visual clutter or video screen, even muted, can interfere with your understanding. If you read while in transit, with headphones or another device to limit the noise may help. So putting headphones might help for some people. As you can see, my study environment, again, it has the books that I'm going to refer to potentially. I have my library right here. I have a nice lamp that I can turn on once I can find the charger, right? So I can turn this lamp on and I can study. So there are different things I could be studying. So one of the first things you should do is make sure that you have a place where you write down your goals. When you sit down to study, always write down the goals. What are my goals? So for example, my goals for next week could be, I want to do polynomials and rules of exponents in math, so I write that down. I want to do world history lesson 6, so I write that down. I want to do biology chapter 2, so I write that down. I want to read a book on logic for fun, or some Thomas Sowell. Let's read his biography or the history of the Wright brothers. So I write that down. I want to do my Spanish or French practice. For me, it will be French. I'm trying to master French again. I never really mastered it, but I took 4 years of it, and I feel like I can just put it back and get to work. So I want to master French. And then, what is my literature reading? Am I reading Calico Captive, or am I reading The Cat of Bubastis, or both? Write that down. And then any other courses that I'm trying to study, maybe a course on leadership. We talked about that in chapel. I want all of you to learn the skills for being a good leader. John Maxwell has some good resources. Zig Ziglar has some good resources as well. We need our middle school and high schoolers to be reading books about responsibility. America, unfortunately, doesn't teach enough about responsibility. Like, learn to be responsible at a young age. I just think about the things we learned in boarding school back in the day. I mean, we had to clean the dorms on our own. We had to clean classrooms. We were responsible. Otherwise, we got into serious trouble. So right from 7th grade, the responsibility and the expectations in Nigeria are very high. Respect is emphasized and all of that. So I say all of that to say, what resources are you using as a 7th grader, as a 6th grader? What are you doing to grow in your leadership? What are you doing to grow in your in being responsible? Are you cleaning after yourself? Are you helping your parents clean the kitchen well? Are you doing your chores well? Are you making your bed, right? We need to stop allowing the low bar approach in this nation. We need to do our best, to give our best, no matter what our story. And I'm sorry some people might have had a harder life, but you know what? The good news is that you don't have to allow your past to determine your future, and we are here to support you, no matter what your story. So I've written down all the different classes. Now the study begins. Maybe it's starting with math. And let's say I'm working on polynomials. So I grab my polynomials document right here. And there should have been less clutter here for sure. But I take my polynomials booklet, I open it. And if I'm going to watch a video for the lesson, for my open math or somewhere else, that's fine, I could do that. But sometimes it's good to just let me look at the examples. What's the lesson about? So I open it, I look at the lessons. Okay, I see what it's about. Okay, rules of exponents. Let's work out some problems. If I have a clock here and I have like a timer here, I can push the timer and I can go for about maybe 25 minutes to 30 minutes, stand up and stretch. Don't get onto apps and things that will distract you and make it hard for you to get back to focus. So make sure when you stretch, maybe say hi to your siblings, just for a second. Ideally, you all want to try and match up with your break times. It's kind of nice. So maybe 25 minutes, take a quick 5-minute break, come back, sit down, and work again, and then take a little break and keep working until lunch, and then do the same thing after. So let's say you start doing this at like 9:30, right? One of the first things you want to do every day is definitely make sure you read the book that matters above all books, right? So you read your Bible, maybe you're reading the book of John, so you read John chapter 1. After you read John chapter 1, you've maybe that's 9 o'clock. So 9 to 9:30, you did some reading. Okay, you're in the zone, and now you go here, you're going to do some math. For some of you, you might want classical music, so I say, okay, why don't we try Handel's Water Music, right? So now I've done some math. I say, okay, that's good. I did some math. I'm listening to classical music. I'm learning. That's excellent, right? So that's what you do. You do your math. And then now you turn over to your science, for example. You're like, okay, let's get into some physics. So you grab your physics and you say, let's learn some physics. Now I have to read, right? So you stay focused. You do your physics. You go through the problems. You write your answers. You need a notebook for every single subject that you're doing, right? So that's why I have all these notebooks here. Every subject should get a notebook. So every time you're doing that subject, get that notebook. When you finish that notebook, I would encourage you to tape a second notebook. So now you have 2 notebooks for that one subject. If you finish that again, tape a third notebook, right? Some of you in math or biology are going to need multiple notebooks, and that's just fine. You can also use a folder system where you take the paper out and you put it into a folder as well. So you do your math, you do your science, you grab your history, you work on your history, you work on your literature reading, whatever works best for you, right? So pay attention to what is working, right? So with your planning here, maybe you realize I need to do math first all the time, or maybe I need to do science, or maybe I need to do literature first. Keep track of how it's going. That's almost like a scientific method right there, in terms of checking to see if it's working well and if you need to revise anything. That's what I would recommend to do. Do all your subjects. Maybe it's 3 o'clock. Okay, that was a good day. Check in with your parents. What do they need you to do? Do you need to mow the lawn, shovel some snow? Do you need to do anything to help and serve? And then I will encourage again to minimize your smartphone use and now look at what are your goals in life? How are you developing in your talents towards the goals in life that you have? How are you preparing for the instrument you want to play and things like that? So you do all of that, and then you call it a day. It comes to dinner time, you call it a day, you have a great time at dinner, enjoy the rest of your evening, and then the next day you wake up and you repeat the process. I hope this was helpful in explaining just how to set up a study area and how to have a plan for studying. Reduce the distractions. There is a time to play, and there's a time to study. Again, let me know if you have any questions, but we'll keep working with you on this skill. And I believe that if you master this skill, you will be a blessing to many because your study skills will help greatly. Take care. Have a blessed day. Feel free to subscribe if you're watching this from any part of the world and join us on this quest to teach practical study skills to all students. Take care and have a blessed day.